So it's still the first week of October. That means welcome back to Beast Wars Week. Let me tell you, the concept of this video changed quite a few times leading up to today. Originally, I planned on Wednesday's video being a double feature between the Rat Trap reissue and the Transform Element Rat Trap, and this video was going to be on a random beast former I have. But then I droned on and on about the pointless details of the packaging for too long and decided that the reissue worked better on its own. So then I planned for today's video being about the Transform Element. But I didn't want Beast Wars Week to be the week of Rat Trap, so I decided to talk about the OG Beast Wars Cheetor that I have. It's not my original figure, but it's not a re-release. I got this on eBay a while back, but then I was at the store and they had the reissue Cheetor, and I kind of wanted to buy it. I already picked up one of the reissues just a few days ago, but I'm leaving that one sealed to hang on my wall since I already have the regular one. But I still wanted it to see how the new reissues turned out. At the same time, I was fighting myself because I didn't want to soak up two of the reissues when I already got what I needed. So I convinced myself to do this by coming up with this silly little idea. I do today's video covering the differences between the original figure and the re-release, of which, surprisingly enough, it turned out there were actually more than a few, and then I'd give the figure away to one of you guys. I didn't really want to do another giveaway so soon since the last one was such an endeavor, but I love you guys and I wanted to make this video. Last time, somehow like a full 25% of the people watching just managed to skip straight to the entry phrase, so I'm not even gonna fight it. I hope if you enter you watch the whole video, but if you want to win a reissue Cheetor, here's how you try. To enter the giveaway, all you need to do is comment by the end of today, October 8th, 2021, the giveaway is only for today. Comment with the key phrase, if I win, and then tell me whether or not you just want the figure or if you also want the packaging. But the key phrase is, if I win. I-F-I-W-I-N. In that order, that's how I'm keeping track of who enters. So don't get creative with the spelling. The winner will be chosen by a random number generator. Shipping will be free. Good luck. First up, I know, you don't care, but let's talk about the box. It won't be as long as last time, I promise. Weirdly enough, this is a lot wider than Rat Trap's box. I don't remember the card backs being differently scaled based on the figure. Cheetor is a bigger figure to be sure, but he's not like that much bigger in beast mode, so I don't know why they bothered with a different card size. Gotta get that terrible action pose on the bubble, that's how you know it's authentic. Man, I hate his creepy old man face, and he looks like he's got a decapitated cheetah on his chest. The instructions for Cheetor are a lot larger than Rat Trap's, and like, is there any wonder as to the reason why? But these are kind of simplified still. Then we can get a look at the stats, and once again, I'm gonna say that all of these are wrong. 6 strength? Nah, I'm feeling a 5. 5 intelligence. Exactly how many episodes are devoted to Cheetor messing something up, being tricked, or just generally being incompetent? Let's be clear here, Cheetor was an idiot. Cheetor was, if I'm charitable, a 4, more like a 3, maybe as low as a 2. The only people consistently shown to be dumber than him were the people who specifically weren't even trying to use their brains. Like Inferno, who did not think for himself. He did what he was told. If he ever did try to think, he'd probably do a better job of it than Cheetor. Speed at a 10? That is way too high. Yes, Cheetor has the fastest land speed of any of the characters, but that's the thing. He has the fastest land speed. When there are flyers in the show, the fastest any filthy groundwalker like Cheetor can ever be is an 8. And then 7 for his firepower. Are you kidding? I know he has like 2 different guns, but his firepower is average at best. Hell, he might have one of the least effective guns in the show, so give him a 5. He nailed Megatron in the face with a
devious, underhanded sneak attack. Oh, I like you, pussycat. Yes. But it shall avail you not. No!
And it didn't even hurt Megatron. Anyways, that's enough for the box. Cheetor comes out okay on the similarity to the show counterpart front. There were definitely more liberties taken with the show model for him though, as they've slimmed him down a ton, making him much more lithe and his alt mode is vastly less muscular. His feet got turned from these bizarre high-heeled dealios to something a lot more normal, and the head, don't get me started on the head, it definitely doesn't look right. This mode feels a bit gappier than the Rat Trap, and it's weirdly bulky. You've got the robot and like all of this in front of it, plus he's got this hanging off his back. He's definitely not the coolest looking of the OG Beast Wars figures, but it's got a charm to it. It's still more accurate than some of its counterparts by like, a lot. Mostly it was the Predacons that looked a little like their show models. Even the coloring here for Cheetor is relatively accurate, and this is where we come to the first big change between this and the reissue. The new figure has a much more metallic and glossier paint, being quite reflective, but the OG-tor here has a very matte blue by comparison. It does make the pattern on his crotch armor stand out a lot more. Even his plastics are brighter and sharper, and while the original version had green eyes, the new one has a semi-show accurate orange. Considering this is a re-release, I think that was a bit of a mistake. This is one of the few times where toy loyalty is truly important. If you are going to re-release the figure, re-release it as it was. Speaking of both paint and as it was, another big difference is on the cheetah head itself. The paint lines on the new one are much sharper, and the eyes are a much darker and once again, relatively metallic paint. However, the biggest departure here is that they have actually re-engineered the figure to a degree for some reason, to prevent you from doing this. Seriously, you can't do that anymore with the new version. He's stuck with this giant head jutting directly off his chest like he was never shown to have in the show. It blocks much of his face and it looks weird, And there's just no fixing this. You'd have to use a knife and shave off a lot of material to get this back to how the original version was. I have no idea why they did this when it looks so much better the way the old figure could do it. And it's also like not secure either when it is completely secure the way mine works. You can kind of fake it, but there's a world of difference going on here. I guess maybe doing it the way I have it chews up the underside piece, but they've made it ugly to prevent you from making the underside ugly over time. I can't help but feel like this was some toy designer throwing a fit. Like they designed it to work this way, then it turned out that people could push it further and get a better figure out of it, and then they had a tantrum that it wasn't the way they envisioned, so they made the re-releases not capable of that. Anyways, the head is, weird. You can see Cheetor in here, but it's kind of like Cheetor after Cheetor got old and out of shape, but still won't stop talking about how he was on the track team in high school. Then he's got the Mutant Head, which might be one of the most off-kilter ones of these. For those who don't know, most of the original Beast Wars figures had what was called the Mutant Heads. It was this strange idea where each of the characters would have an alternate ugly head for some reason. Originally, it was actually going to be in the show, but they scrapped it for a good reason. At least, kind of. Some of the characters still had their mutant heads, but no one had an alternate head anymore. You either had your mutant head or a robot head, not both. Some of the mutant heads, like Waspinator's bug head, made sense. It fit with his theme. Some of them, like Rhinox, had a weird angry face, so that's not a big deal. And Dinobot had a fossil helmet. Cheetor here has something. Just something. I don't know how to describe it. It's a generic thing. Some kind of bug monster. I can see this in a solid, crappy B-movie with a decent puppet budget. This is another area where the new one differs slightly, as the eyes on the new one are a painted brass color. The accessories this guy comes with were decent for the time. He's got the gut gun and the tail rifle. Of the two, as a child, I always thought the tail rifle was cooler, but the gut gun is his more iconic weapon, even if it is completely misrepresented here, or more in the show. It's more shaped like a Mass Effect Reaper here, and it does this weird thing where it sucks up water to squirt it back out, another gimmick mostly only found in Wave 1 of Beast Wars. It's kind of hard to use, and these tend to break over time. The soft plastic just gives out and it cracks, so hopefully that's been fixed before now. Posing, much like the Rat Trap, is probably better than you might expect, considering the figure is so old. Honestly, after Beast Wars, figures would become a lot less posable for a long time. Really, this thing is mostly pulling Titan's return levels of mobility, though its bulky body really gets in the way, and it's another issue where this and the re-release differ a little, because the mold seems to have suffered from the inverse of degradation over the years. The new version's joints are tighter than they ever were. Head swivels and has a lot of weird down, shoulders pull a 90, one of the best forward butterflies I've ever seen, and it's on a figure from 25 years ago. Too bad the cat head gets in the way. Maximum elbows. The waist on the new one is really rough. I thought I was going to break it the first time I tried to use it. Legs go out to the side and back just fine, but you have to ever so slightly cheat it to get the full forward motion. Without it, you can only get them this far and they pop off really easily. And the knees pull like 1 degree below a 90. Honestly, if it weren't for the lack of ankle tilts on this, I'd say this is above average for even a modern figure. Hell, if the cat head weren't so in the way, I'd still say that. Transformation on this is solid, interesting, and I'd even describe it as a classic, even though there is a degree of parts forming to it. The gut gun doesn't really count, as it looks fine without it, so I'd argue that's just clever weapon storage. Hell, it might even look worse with it. But this is just flat out not complete without the tail gun. It looks tolerable if you lose it, but it's still incomplete. And the end result is a large cat mode that's probably more cohesive than either the Kingdom figure or the Masterpiece figure, with just one problem. This is so not a cheetah. This thing is stupidly jacked. This is the Belgian blue of cats. This must be a cat that exclusively hunts protein shakes. The back feet look like they are off someone's fursuit. I don't even know why they look like this. There really is nothing about it that requires this. You can either have it standing on its tiptoes or flat-footed. Both look weird in their own ways. And aside from the backs of the rear legs being blue, the only other part of this that is really off is this space under the neck, which you can help by just removing the gun. This must have been intended as some kind of saber-toothed tiger, or maybe a large swole rat, and it just got called Cheetor. Seriously, they could slim this down and use it again today, and I think people would be impressed with it. So I'm gonna say this holds up remarkably well. You might think this is a figure from 25 years ago, so it's going to suck, but this might surprise you. Poses well, the transformation is fun, even if it does parts form, robot mode is reasonably close to the original show model. Outside a few wonky proportions and the cat mode being weird but very cohesive, this is solid even by a modern standpoint. This isn't just nostalgia talking, this is still a remarkably good figure given its age. Unlike the Rat Trap, you might be happy with this not only as a curiosity or a nostalgia piece, but as a general figure, if you can get past some of its obviously dated aspects, of which there are surprisingly few. I'm not shocked, but I can't say I was expecting these Beast Wars figures to hold up so well. My memories were doing them justice, and I still underestimated them. They are a step behind the times for sure, but not as much as you'd really expect. These are still fun, and not in a, aw, that's so quaint way, though they do still have a quaint charm to them. Seriously, I think most people will be happy with one of these. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.